Hello everyone, it's GigaBeef here, and today we're going to be looking at the next informal guide that we're doing in the teach-in series. So after the first one I posted, which was this one, which is the about efficiency and that kind of thing, I asked people what they would like to see next, and it was an overwhelming choice of a full raid with all choices explained in real time. Now, I was trying to do this on stream, but unfortunately not all the raids are either interesting, or you don't always survive, or you die within the first 5 minutes. So I feel that the next best thing is to go and pick a raid that is interesting, is not too long, and has a few different elements, which is exactly what has happened in this one. So in this particular raid, we are trying to complete this task here, Huntsman Path Evil Watchman. You can see I was level 37 at the time, and before this raid, we needed another 2 kills. We had 3 out of 5, so we needed to get straight to dorms and go there as quickly as possible. As before the raid actually opens up, I'm going to show you exactly what we had as the loadout before we went in. This is when I was still looking at using the VSS, and we've got a pretty budget kit here, right? So we've got GSSH and the Ratnik. These things are really, really cheap. This one comes from Prapor and is very, very, very inexpensive. The Ratnik helmet you could do for the 2 bleach for the barter. And then the Bagariy rig is pretty good if you don't want to take a bag, because you can take quite a lot of stuff with you. And then we've got the VSS, and we've got 2 SP6s here, and my usual collection of stuff. I don't know why I've got 2 AFACs, but I think this is probably a mistake. This is probably a hangover from a previous raid. So this is what we're starting off with. Propitol up here. This should really be hotkeyed as well, which is another little mistake. So where we've started off on the map is we have started off where people call the giving tree. So if we go to the customs map itself, we're basically up by Old Gas, and we've spawned in right here. Now the thing about Old Gas is it's quite far away from dorms. It's not so far by how the crow flies, but there's a couple of spawns that are a bit closer, right? There's one spawn which is actually right here, and that seems to be missing. These yellow markers are supposed to be the PMC spawns. And there's a spawn that's kind of around there, which is really super close. And there's a spawn actually just here as well on this side. And this, for those of you who've been playing for a bit, this map is the other way up to the way that most people who learned customs a while ago are used to, because dorms is at the bottom. This is the real way that it should be, right? North is up this side, and factory is actually up here somewhere, and woods is above this map. And this is the way that it should be, but this has been turned after a long time of people thinking it was the other way. So either which way, we're not actually at the closest spawn. We're basically in this broad spawn here. Now, the only thing that I'm thinking is that because I'm practically slap bang in the center of the map, and there aren't really any PMC spawns until over here. This is Crack House here. This is the big fortress building. This is Crack House, so you can actually spawn there, and then you can spawn here over by RUAF roadblock, and people can run in this way as well as I said, down here. But no one spawns in this area in particular, and the way that I find is the safest to go usually is to run straight through here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'll keep this map just in case. So we're going to run straight from this through the little gate over on the side and along. And we're going to keep on going all the way over past Fortress and going through this section. Because, yeah, as I know that there's nobody can really be in here. People will come here later on into the Fortress bit, but they won't be here right away. Now, one thing you do have to be careful about is up there. On the tower, there can be a sniper. I think maybe I looked at that a second ago, and he can shoot you from from over here. So you just make sure that he's not going to be up there or anything as we run towards dorms. So dorms is basically this direction. You can see this tall tower here. It's kind of next to that. It's like just on the right hand side of this. So we have to get through this area. We still know that it's very, very unlikely that someone's going to cut us off from this side, and standing right underneath the sniper tower here also stops us getting shot from there too, which is pretty cool. So as once we get into this area, it starts to get a little bit more dangerous, I suppose, on our approach, but not so much until we actually leave out of this little hole. Now there's barbed wire here, so this is why you always want to jump, because you can get stuck in this barbed wire, or it can tickle your feet and take a few health points of damage off or whatever, which is why people always jump out of this one. And I think the best way here, because this pipe, like, you can crouch under certain areas, but often it's just easier to run across this section. So now we're into this part where we're much more likely to run into people at this stage, because other people going to dorms might actually run into us. So we've come down from Old Gas, we've gone through the little hole in the fence, which is just this bit here. We went down this side along the edge of here. We could see Fortress over there. The sniper guy is up on this tower. We've run along here through the little hole. Through here, the barbed wire is on the bottom of that there. We've jumped across, and then the staircase is about here somewhere. So now we're by the parking sort of bus station bit, and we need to get through this open field kind of thing. And this is, as I said, where if somebody spawned here, they'd probably be at dorms already. If they spawn a little bit further back, they could be coming across. It depends on what they want to do. It's not super usual to find people wandering through this bit, because people are normally either going to gas station or they're going to dorms directly. And so getting cut off here is not that likely. Also, the people who end up coming through this section, it usually takes them a little bit longer, but even if they did, they'd normally be cutting through to go to Dorm's 3-story rather than trying to slice through here. It's just quite unusual to meet anybody. So again, I still feel like this is a relatively safe pathway to actually get through into the next bit. I'll turn the sound on now, and so we can get into the next bit and figure out what happens next. I mean, just one point, I probably should have my laser off at this point because I don't really need it, and I might just be giving myself away. This was before the flashlight bug, by the way, just for those who are watching right now while the flashlight bug is still on. Is the problem. Because people don't really trust that it's being handled correctly. So we hear a little rustle from over this side, and there's an airdrop starting to come. You can actually see the guy here. I managed to pause it perfectly. You can actually see the guy here. I heard him rustle through, I guess, this tree. And that was the first time that we had heard any indication that there's anybody there. So if somebody's just walking, you might not hear them until they're about this close. Now I'm looking for a second because I don't actually know whether this guy is by himself. This is the reason why I jumped through here. This is probably too aggressive. What you should really do is push up to that rock and then scout out and see. Because like I'm completely in the open. If he had a friend who was like down here by the pole, down here in the trees or whatever, I'm basically out in the open. I'm sort of using the element of surprise to try to jump and get the second person if they're there. But given that I'm reloading at the same time, honestly, I think this is pretty bad. But you should always be looking out for the second person. That was the broad idea behind this particular movement, even though I think I've probably implemented it quite badly. But it turns out that this guy is on his own, and he basically was too preoccupied looking up where the airdrop was going to be to fight back or even realize that we were there. Man's too busy looking at the airdrop. And he's only level 13. Oh, he's like very timmy. So my general rule, if people are under 15, I pretty much always drop their stuff. Because they haven't access to flee, so they'll get it back in insurance. That's kind of the idea. I don't have that hotkeyed. Yeah, so we're basically just talking about CPU stuff. And yeah, so I've refilled the magazine, which I pretty much always try to do. If you're only taking a couple of mags, then you pretty much want to keep them always filled up. And we do hotkey that propitol. Right, we hear a rustle behind us at that point, and I know that I'm in trouble because somebody is behind us there. Sometimes if you hear it right behind you, then it can be yourself making a sound. The sound plays after you've gone through, but let me just skip back just a quick second. It's too far after we've gone out of the bush, right? Listen to this. That one there. So that sound behind us, behind to the left, it means we're really in trouble because, like, where can I go from here? Opening the door, I can't really do that. I can't run up the stairs. I'm kind of at the wrong side. It's a bit tricky. So I do the only thing that I'm able to, which is just run side to side as best as possible to try to make them miss. Basically, you want to be 90 degrees to the person that is firing at you, and just run side to side and make it as hard to hit you as possible. Now, I do decide to go for med here. I cancel it, and I hear the guy run in because I figured, given that I didn't hear him actually running, I probably had time. This is probably a bit risky. If somebody's super, super aggressive, he could probably have reloaded and killed me before then. If I'm going to do this, I probably should shut the door first just to make sure that I can actually get it off, and he has to then interact with the door, etc., and I should move myself to the side so he can't just shoot through and kill me. But anyway, I decided to do it, and it pays off in this particular situation, even though against a high-tier player that I probably would be dead, and we go out to engage to try and retake the initiative. Unfortunately, the VSS with SP6 has extremely low time to kill. I don't think that'll count. So we're going to go back on healing everything and making sure we're all back to normal before we go and do everything else. I should really be turning off this laser again, just simply because otherwise I'm sort of wasting time. I think we heard some other noises of footsteps or whatever, but I don't think anybody actually ever appeared. Let's just have a listen for a sec. I think there's like a slight rain noise, which is what's putting me off. No, there is actually someone else. But I did turn the laser off in the end. And the thing is, in this particular situation, I don't want them to hear me healing.
I think I got hit twice, maybe. My rig is actually super busted.
Because of this reason, right? I'm like, my rig's super busted. If we go on the health bit, like I think I've still got a yellow chest. People can hear you going into your inventory, but it's very quiet. People can't hear you reloading these mags. So I figured, well, we'll reload the mags first, and when I feel like I'm totally out of hearing range, then we'll actually heal the thorax. And meanwhile, the Propitol's doing its work. You can see our +1 HP per second ticking up here because I did actually use that. So we're actually not too far off max HP on our chest. So I just wanted to make sure that we're not going to get heard and pushed if we're using like a splint or
Pretty sure it was UMP. I thought it was
whatever.
I thought it was an MP7.
See that sound, that's almost certainly like a 153 or a 155 shotgun with AP20 slugs or something suppressed, is what I feel. But these people sound like they're in dorms now. Yeah, and they're fighting somebody else. So at this point, we could probably whip in and take the loot, or at least give it a try.
Problem is my armor's shredded.
So at this point, because the armor is shredded, that's basically why I would look to try and leave this raid. Because at this point, because this is less than half, you're going to be at about a sort of a class 4 is at about 40 to 45%. And so this is actually probably even less than class 4. Like class 4 probably is about 25 or something. It's probably about there or thereabouts. But you've got like one shot left in you because the durability is so low now. You're going to take one more shot and then it's going to be like wearing no armor at all. So you basically got one class 4 rated bullet left, and then you're as if you're naked. So yeah, it's time to go.
I don't feel like I can fight anymore. I've got like, my armor's actually just dead.
And this is the thing. That kill actually did end up counting for the quest because it was in the area enough for it to count for as a dorms kill. But we still needed to get one more. But the thing is, it's like, what's worth it? Do you really need the quest progression that badly that it's worth risking your life? Like often if you're in this kind of situation where you've already used your pocket propitol, you've got 2 breaks you're going to need to heal with splints, you're going to have to use a CMS to get your arm back online. You've now not got full HP. You know there's a dude there with a shotty who's going to deal like massive HP damage. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to like skirt around the outskirts. As you'll know, we've got from dorms, we're going to enter in through this section here because our first guy we killed over there. We moved over the road and we engaged with our MP7 guy here who was like hidden in the bushes. We went inside, we came back out again. We circled around and we looped through the foliage out to here to snipe a roadblock. And this area does often feel quite decent, but people can be leaving dorms and coming this way or coming out from this side, late stragglers out from the big red area. They could still be coming across this way. So that's why I'm kind of worried mostly about this wall area. And I'm just making sure that, we go this way. Now, in terms of exits, you can go to RUAF roadblock, and lots of people like to do this because this is always open now. It's got the lights on it, and I think it's always open these days. The problem for me is that you have to go across the front of all these walls, and I just don't really like it very much. I would much prefer to try for Smuggler's Boat, and if that's not the case, because this is the one where it's got the little fire on it, then you're going to hop over the 2 junk bridges and go all the way along to Crossroads. I personally feel that this is safer. Very occasionally, you meet somebody either here or on the bridge, and they shoot down and they kill you. But it's super, super, super rare, and I'd rather take my chances doing that personally.
You slug to the chest with my like armor absolutely wrecked, and just think like, damn, I wish I just left.
Yeah, so basically explaining my choice of leaving in real time. But you got to be careful over this road because there's lots of scavs that can be around this area, and I don't want to just suddenly get like shot by a random scav. So down to here, we're gonna
like can take the stuff and have the opportunity to leave.
Yeah. So down here, we're gonna check the smuggler's boat, which is this one. You can see a little plume of smoke coming out of it if it's active, but unfortunately in this case it isn't.
No fire. Fighting lockdown at the hilly boat right? Really?
Which means that we're going to have to go all the way to Crossroads. So we do have to take our chances over through the junk bridge. I kind of don't mind having the laser on here because I'm probably going to fight somebody in CQC, if anything. And yeah, maybe they see it down from up here, from the actual bridge itself. So yeah, we probably should have it off. But in the same vein, I find it pretty unlikely. Like the most likely thing is to have people be lurking around in those bushes to try and kill you.
Crossing, really. I normally just go this way. RUAF is kind of like you can be camped for people doing shooterborn and like stupid stuff like that. Like yeah, you can meet people this way, but I find it not as problematic. So yeah, the exact logic as to the reason why after the raid that I'm thinking this way is usually a pretty good idea. So we do actually end up running out of painkillers here. So I've got in my secure container a golden star. So we're just going to use that just to make sure that we get to the end, because we're going to have this horrible blurry effect because of the breaks that I haven't healed. And we're basically just going to get out. I mean, I probably should heal this, to be honest, and I should have let the Propitol heal up my arm. So what we could have done was use the CMS on my arm and then let the Propitol heal up, tick, this back to full health. So if we do encounter a shotgun scav or something, we have the most HP available. The breaks are probably less problematic because those are both on my arms, and they do affect your shooting if you're aiming down sights, but you know, it's not as bad. We can go around this side. I think I saw somebody in here actually. Let's see, what did I see? Oh, there's somebody there. Where did I see that? It's so hard to tell after the fact. It might have been actually even before in here. Oh, there. That was the person there. There. So there's somebody here. And it's probably a scav, but I just didn't really want to risk it. We can go around this side. So I'm probably going to take this sneaky little hole. Run at them. It feels bad. Run straight at them. You can get through this wall just here. I guess the thing is I don't need the kills out here. Your arm doesn't hurt anymore, it's just not there. Exactly. So yeah, we're going to take a slight detour. Rather than going all the way to Crossroads, we're going to go to Trailer Park instead, which is pretty unusual. And it's another good thing about going this way, because if somebody is there or there's a big fight or something like that, then you actually have another alternative route to take. And there can be lots of scavs over in Big Red and that kind of stuff. And earlier on in the white, there's more people here. Later on, there's really nobody there. This is an airdrop that's got stuck. But there's ways to escape, there's boxes, there's cover, and all this kind of thing. So if you're trying to be careful and just try to leave with the stuff that you've got, you know, you have lots of possibilities around escaping, moving, getting to other places, and that kind of stuff around this route, which is why I quite like it. Like you want to give yourself as many options as you can. Okay, so let's get through this bit. This can be a little bit hairy. There's people dead here. That's interesting. And there's a scav over there. Turns out we didn't get a free ride either which way we ended up going. I want to cut in as close to here as I can, just so that I killed them or they killed them. Just so I can hear people if they're on the other side of the wall or something. If there is anybody here, it's most likely to be scavs, to be honest. But I'm basically trying to avoid an ambush from in this area and keep my body concealed just in case someone does pop out. Because that's the thing. Sometimes you can mistake players for scavs and vice versa. So I just don't want to make sure. It's scav. It's just a scav, right? I just want to make sure I'm not making a mistake. Pretty sure it's just a scav. Pretty sure. We just go and leave with our stuff. I feel so exposed wearing this armor. Like it's bad. I haven't extracted at this exfil for a long time. It's been a long time since I've exfilled out of there. And there we go. And so we did end up getting one kill at dorms. We managed to make our way there and get the one kill without even actually going inside properly. And we got a couple of little kills here. The guy who was looking at the airdrop, and that's that. So hopefully that was kind of interesting. A lot of people wanted to see this, so I think this is probably the best format that I don't know, could come up with that's something consistent and actually interesting. If people like this type, then maybe in the future I'll do one on a different map or maybe a different raid. If there's something specific, then you know, just ask for it and I'll put it in the bank of ideas, and we'll see exactly whether what makes sense and what I'll do at the time. So
If you enjoyed it, then fantastic. Otherwise, I will put out another poll and we shall do another one of these fairly soon. And as I said, these are going to come in addition to the regular videos because they're a bit quicker to make, but it gives you kind of a bit more of an insight into a slice of like how I think in a particular raid. And although I'm not the best player in the entire world, I think some people still find it valuable to do. So we're going to carry on with this, and yeah, we're going to see how it goes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.